Hey, what's up everybody? It's BDO 44 coming at you with another video. So last night I made a video with Kyrie Irving. I was thanking him and everything, but there was an entirely different point that I wasn't in the frame of mind to bring up that kind of takes it away from the specifics of Kyrie and more so brings it back to basketball and the GM aspect of things, right? So I kind of can get back to saying what it is that I want to say on that in that regard here. Um, so yeah, I think what Kyrie Irving did last night, aside from address us and all the good stuff, and like I said, I was so very satisfied with what I heard. I'm at peace. I'm at real peace as it pertains to Kyrie Irving. Now it's just like the media can't really tell me nothing. I've heard what I need to hear from him. I know exactly where he's coming from. Middleman don't matter no more. Straight up, that's how I feel about Kyrie Irving as it pertains to the situation. As long as he's continuing to address us, I don't need them when they talk about him. This is what I'm doing. That's how I feel right now. And I think a lot of people feel that way too after seeing that. I think he helped himself. But what I think he did last night was help the Brooklyn Nets understand that he wants to play for them. But what I thought he was hinting at was that he would be willing to play elsewhere if it had to come to that. If it had to come to him playing somewhere else, the reports that he would retire if he were traded, I perceived that he was saying that was not necessarily true. And I think that was the most helpful thing he could do for his team. And I felt like in that video, he was trying to consider his team quite a bit. That's what I felt. I felt like he was torn between who he was trying to consider in regards to what he's standing up for. And the other side would be what's going on with him professionally, which is his passion also. And he made it clear to us that he's not ready to give up this game that he loves. He doesn't want to lose this game that he loves. Don't believe the hype in regards to him retire. He's not retiring. So I felt like that was the most important message for him professionally. That was there because that's what they needed. And I would tell the Brooklyn Nets after last night, do not trade Kyrie Irving unless you're getting a deal that is absolutely stupid. I didn't feel that way before watching him talk, but now I'm under the mindset that I think he is going to do what he needs to do to make sure he's on the floor. I think he's going to be there. I don't know if he'll be there to start the season, but when they need him in the playoffs and stuff, that injection, I don't believe is going to stop him from playing in the playoffs. I don't think that. It may take him this long because of how he is and who he is. It may take him some of the season or not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying I'm mentally prepared for this decision to take a long time because even though I'm satisfied with Kai, we know he operates this way. I don't need the media to tell me he operates this way. The absence tells me he operates a certain way. And if you're gonna deal with him, you gotta accept that. And that's harsh for professionals to accept. Even when we agree with you, if I'm on the team, I'm like, bro, I really do want you to hurry up and make this decision. But for the sake of my position in this channel, that's not where I'm at. I think the Nets have done a good job at letting themselves be seen as someone who's also trying to support him, help their own interests, and leave room for him to make his decision. I felt like the Nets, if I were an athlete and I saw their statement, I would feel really good about them. And I would feel optimistic that they mean well by me, even though they have to do what they have to do for themselves. I got all of the right stuff from the Nets, Sean Marks, if I'm Kyrie Irving. So now the ball is in Kyrie's court, and I think he was trying to acknowledge that yesterday while still being true to what it is he's trying to do, which is figure this out and please everybody, which we know is a losing battle. You can't please everybody. But what you can do is what he did last night, which is speak up for his cause, which I said in this camera would be what I needed to see, and what I thought would help him brings more light to his cause and pinpoint what it is that he is standing for. and not letting the media, so to speak, and people like myself to define that for him, to carry that narrative forward without his voice. So now that I got that, at this point, it's like, okay, well, I can make my own conclusions about how I want to approach my channel. So as far as Kyrie Irving is concerned, Nets, wait out, hold out. You know, I love the Nets having Ben Simmons on that team. I do. But I also understand that Kyrie Irving, when he gets into certain situations, he takes his game to another level. And, I've been on record saying that he's really good at the vanity stuff, and I explained what I thought the vanity stuff was. Things that look good, dribbling, free throw shooting, all of that stuff. But truth be told, I really do understand the intricacies of him as a weapon. How he can get to his spots at will, how he can finish at will, how he's able to do certain things effortlessly. And he studied the game not just as somebody who has a bunch of natural ability, but as somebody who stuck close to people like Kobe Bryant, who saw the game in such a way. He stuck close to people like LeBron James, who see the game in such a way. So it's like, when I talk about what he can do on the floor and what I perceive his limitations are, it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think that he can, turn it to something on the floor that overcomes any perception of weakness on the basketball floor simply with the extreme strengths that he has. If I'm being real, I'm saying basically like Steph Curry's shooting ability. Is Steph Curry the greatest ball handler? He has amazing handles, but sometimes he's careless with the ball, particularly in certain situations when you need him not to be. Is that going to dock him as one of the greatest players to ever play the game? Of course not. Why? Because he shoots the ball better than all souls on the planet. So that trumps other stuff. Kai has that type of gift in the various areas that he's great at. So, while I look at him and say he's not the defender, while I look at him and say he's not the facilitator, while I look at him and say this, that, or whatever, I also know when he gets on the floor with people who can do those things, he can still be the best player on the floor. No question about it, and they respect him as such. That's why a guy like KD wants him on the team. That's why a guy like James Harden has him on the team. So, as I perceive Kyrie's game being as it is, I also understand that I don't have the talent that those two guys have when looking at him and assessing what he's about. So I always say that. As fans, here's what I'll say. When I was a little kid, I was in a band, a drum band, samba. It's Brazilian music, right? It's like, I started this at like 5 years old, did it all the way till I was like 11. I was really good, excelled at it and everything. But before I got in the band, I would try to mimic the drum patterns that I would hear the big kids playing, because I was always musically inclined anyway. So I would effectively mimic the sounds that they were making. But when I got in the band, I realized the patterns that I was using to come up with those sounds were so less intricate than what they were actually doing to come up with those sounds. But because they had mastered the muscle memory of doing it and had figured out the patterns from which they were able to drum, what I found out is that their way was much more effective to keep it going for long periods of time. As to where mine would duplicate their sound, I would get much more tired if I were to do it my way than to do it their way, because they would get better patterns by moving their arms in such a way that I wasn't. In other words, tying that back to Kyrie Irving, my perception of what it is and what it takes to be a great basketball player is only as good as I'm able to perceive it to be. Once you get down there and start learning the intricacies of the science, you realize it's so much more intricate than you're able to duplicate in your mind. And when you do that, when you understand that rather, you find yourself respecting the expertise of those in those positions who do that sweet science. Because even though you're able to perceive it with your eyes as a fan, or even perceive it because you have an ability to duplicate sounds, what you can't do is figure out exactly what they're doing to get what they're doing and for how they're able to sustain it in the way that they are. And once you get that, then you understand what they're looking at, the angles that they have that you can't see, and most importantly, what makes those athletes great in great athletes' minds. So if KD and James Harden say that's my third, I'm inclined to believe that their understanding of his game is much broader than I'm able to perceive it. So that's what I'm here to say. I ain't the greatest basketball mind, even though I do find myself to be gifted in certain aspects of being able to visualize the game and identify what I'm looking at. Facilitating, timing, things of that nature comes naturally to me. I see angles, passing. If I were a basketball player, that would probably be my gift. So what I'm saying to you guys is, that's how I approach it. But I always have that analogy that I said in regards to drum patterns that taught me very early that even though you can mimic something or you think you perceive what you're seeing, until you're actually out there, you don't actually know what they're doing, and you can't even begin to assess it properly. So that's what I've learned. I love that I learned that lesson early in life, because it allows me to stay humble when I'm talking about this basketball thing. So that's what I wanted everybody to know. I know a lot of people are going to be starting to tune in to me. I get the feeling that I'm going to grow some attention over the next year or so. I hope that it does, because I believe in what I'm doing. But as I do, I want people to understand, I ain't one of them dudes that played basketball like that. I didn't. But I paid a lot more attention to it than a lot of people, because I had a lot of time on my hands, and that's what I was on. So yeah, that's where my confidence comes from. But I'm looking to learn. Basketball professionals, athletes, man, I'm looking to learn, bro. I'm looking to learn. So that's what's up, man. I want to let y'all know that. And that's what I got, man. My name is PDL44. Thank y'all for watching and subbing and all that good stuff. I'm out.